Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm the PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region, and I'm joined by Nina Tebbe. She is our Head of Information Solutions Business, Central Europe for Rockwell. Nina, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm also joined by Mohammed Elnakib. He is Head of Information Solutions Sales for Rockwell Automation in Middle East, Turkey, and Africa.
Thank you, Stan.
I got all that right on the first try?
You did.
Oh, good. Fantastic. So guys, we're here today to talk about navigating operational and workforce challenges with digital transformation. So this is a remarkable topic. I can't wait to get started. Nina, if it's okay, if I start with you.
That's fine.
How do the ongoing skill shortage challenges that you're seeing, we're seeing in the marketplace, mentioned, for example, in the State of Smart Manufacturing report, the 2023 study that's been released, how is that affecting manufacturers, and what steps can they take to mitigate some of these challenges?
This is a good and interesting question, because most manufacturers, what they see and feel already is that we're coming to a decade now where many of the baby boomers will retire, and where we see a lot of uncertainty about who will replace those baby boomers when they retired, who has the skills and the expertise to become the replacement. And first of all, of course, everybody is hiring talent and is looking for talent, but if you have a talent on board, how quickly can you make this talent being in the same position as the lost worker that you had? And fortunately, there are now techniques and possibilities what you can do to help these workers become skilled and expert very quickly, and where you don't have to wait for them to make 10,000 hours. I heard once was the thing before you're a perfectionist on something, before they have put in 10,000 hours to do the same job, but they can reduce the time to get upskilled very quickly. And I think this is key when it comes to shortage of workers. You have anything?
No, I think it's spot on, Nina. The workforce shortage, what we see in the market as talents join early in the organization and they start adopting technologies that they can actually help them do their job quicker, more efficient, more reliable, and then they are more productive in a very short period of time. And the TCO, when you talk about an investment in such technologies, the business case is already done from day one, because you are shortening the period from time to productivity, as you mentioned, from day one they join until the time they are productive and they are actually producing in the plant or in operations or in factory.
It also has another effect if you're using like these technologies to bring workers faster to speed, because you can use the same techniques also to shorten a certain inspection time, for instance, to do and becoming more effective in
maintenance
and doing this. So there are different aspects that you can use when you are looking for new technologies that help you to overcome this one of the major themes that we are currently facing.
And when we look into enabling technologies such as augmented reality as we speak, 5 years back we didn't look at it as critical as such. We're seeing augmented reality more and more becoming a business enabler to a lot of our customers, especially when we look in the post-COVID effect, when we are moving back to normal, moving back to their operations, they are actually using more of these technology to perform their jobs better and quicker and more efficient.
And it also reduced the hurdle in the minds of a lot of the. You sometimes look at the industry and you say, oh, they are old-fashioned. Not everybody consider themselves as old-fashioned, obviously, but there are some more reluctant to change to digital. What gadgets are the new workers bringing in here now? But now they see what they can do, also due to COVID, and what effect it has, and that it can have a positive effect on their outcomes, etc.
Really good points. Really good points. Just to keep us moving along, let me ask, and maybe Mohammed, if I could ask you this first. Sure. As manufacturers are increasingly adopting software as a service, right, to cope with operational challenges, what are some of the key considerations they should keep in mind to ensure these solutions are effectively managed?
That's a great question, and I wish there is a blueprint for that, but at the same time, I think there are best practices that we learn throughout the journey of adopting cloud. Cloud has been there for quite some time, but there are some things that when we put into consideration, especially for manufacturers, that when they follow such steps, they are able to make the journey more reliable and more efficient and quicker, right? So first step is they need to identify their needs, right? Why am I adopting SaaS? What are the mission critical priorities that I need to solve with SaaS? So once you have identified your need and you know exactly your business pain points, now you look for the software. And you need to look for the software first by evaluating the vendor. So when you evaluate the vendors, we're not looking to evaluate a cloud service provider, but rather a manufacturing experience cloud service provider, which means that you not only have a cloud experience, but you have a cloud that is dedicated for manufacturing. And this is why evaluating a vendor, when it comes to the manufacturing SaaS environment, you need to look into the cloud SaaS environment. Now, you evaluated the vendor, you need to look into the third pillar, which is actually data security. From a data security, we know that's a very critical point, as always in cloud. You need to make sure, while ensuring data security, that this vendor have the right security protocols so that both data at rest, data in transit are both encrypted. Once you ensure that this vendor have a good security protocol and mechanism, you now need to move to the next step, which is basically train your people, make them ready to adopt the software. And this is a very, very important point, because a lot of these projects fail due to culture difference and culture gaps of adopting such technology. If they are not ready and you didn't prepare them, you might fail in the journey, right? So I believe if you have the right footprint and you ensure also that the software that you're going to use have the right integration capabilities, because there are dozens of SaaS softwares in the market, right? But not every technology has the right integration mechanism that can make your life easier concluding on the overall solution. So the integration capability is also one of the main things that you need to look at once you're looking into the SaaS.
And let me add to the journey. I think it's important to understand, and we embrace this very heavily.
Yeah.
Every client is on a different path on their journey to digitization. And you also have to acknowledge not every client or every customer is a greenfield. Yeah, so right now we are in the lucky situation that with evolving emerging technologies, companies start building greenfields, but most of our clients have already existing plans that they want to use a couple decades more and bring them to life. So the situation, I think, is important as well as how do we embrace it? How do we embrace already existing things that are there and integrate it into something that can be used for the future, but not write everything off? And I think to give the people, the clients, return on invest that they did many decades ago, and still being able to infuse just little things to make more use out of it, that's great. And I think we are embracing this, and we are trying to be very open for whatever they have there, and to be agnostic on one hand, but also to help them grow and develop.
Guys, let me keep us moving with the next question. Mohammed, you touched on this, but Nina, if I could ask you first.
Yeah.
There's a growing importance of data security, right? And so with the increasing integration of the IT and OT departments, this is certainly a major issue. How can manufacturers ensure a seamless and secure collaboration between these traditionally siloed departments? Nina, what's your take?
So I think from a security standpoint, it is something that relates to the infrastructure that you're using. So I think the infrastructure at every company is the foundation of everything, where everything is built on. You have to have something built on concrete, not on quicksand. And I think here it is important that you use something that is reliable, that you trust. Trust is very important in infrastructure environments, because you need to trust that this infrastructure cannot be hacked, that you can secure all your data there. And that's why Rockwell Automation decided to partner up with proven infrastructure provider in this, and this is Microsoft. And they are providing infrastructure for the cloud infrastructure, and our SaaS components run on Microsoft Azure. And we are very happy that we have this solid infrastructure, so we don't have to worry about this. We can work with the people then on the value add that they can bring to their businesses, and the solution we can develop together, not on the infrastructure.
And I think, Nina, you touched on a very good point, because once you look into the data security as well as a manufacturing adopting SaaS, and you look into your security criteria, security protocols, you need to balance in terms of what critical information that you're really pushing to the cloud and what information that you're keeping with you on-prem. And when we talk about manufacturing data, some of the data is not really critical for you. And this is the data that we can leverage as a software company to actually try to develop and make your business more effective and more operationally sustainable.
That's a great point. Guys, I'm going to keep us moving. Mohammed, if you don't mind, I would love to ask you this question specifically.
Sure.
Can you share any examples of how your customers have navigated the complexities they've faced in integrating digital technologies with their existing landscape? What advantages did they gain from cloud solutions versus on-prem during their digital transformation journey?
That's a very good question, and it's very close to my heart as well, because one of the things that keep me moving is that when you see the success that you do with your clients, and this is the journey that makes me in this job until now, right? So one of the main things is that I remember one of our customers, the CEO, a heavily capex involved company where they used to have very good growth rates. They are selling really well. They're increasing in their revenue. They are, I think, growing double-digit growth in sales every year. However, from an operational capex standpoint of view, they are investing heavily in their equipment, right? So when I had the discussion with the CEO first, he was telling me, we're growing in revenue, but at the same time, I'm buying new equipment to increase the production every year. I'm not profitable enough. There is something that we need to do. So we started to dig deeper into what's actually causing that. And we tried leveraging multiple tools and till we came up to conclusion, we're leveraging industrial IoT, for example, to be able to identify the existing utilizations of their assets, right? And we monitored it at the beginning, first few months, and we found that the utilization was approximately around 16%. So what this means is that for any time he wants to increase his production capacity, what he used to do is to actually buy a new equipment. While in fact, he's only using the equipment he has only 16% of its original manufacturing time. So by installing such software, he was able to increase the efficiency from 16. I think now we reached around 86, 87 in around 6 months. And he stopped buying new equipment. And I will tell you now that the cost of this machine was approximately around $1.2 million per year. So if he's increasing the revenue, he needs to buy an additional equipment of 1.2. So if you look into the overall total cost of ownership, I think it justifies the case. Yeah.
That's remarkable. All right, so one last question for you guys, and Nina, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to answer this. How can a modular approach to digital transformation help organizations transition from automation to data-driven decision-making?
Oh, that comes now back to my journey that I already spoke about. I think when you go on a journey, you're not having like, when you start sailing, for instance, you're not going to start sailing with the goal in mind that you will sail the world. No, you want to sail first, maybe just the lake in front of your doorstep, and want to understand what can I achieve with this little boat, yeah? And maybe you start with a small boat first, and then you try to go on a bigger boat, in a yacht maybe, or then one of the real big boats. So every client is like this. They don't want to start with a big bang. That's an old methodology from the past. When you think now about agile development, then you start small and try to find out if this small solution is helping your process or not. If it's not helping, then you move on to something else, but you don't spend a lot of bucks on something. So you really start small and then slowly evolve. And when you've noticed, oh, it's working fine and I can go now to other shores, then you will scale up and go bigger. And I think this is something that clients are looking for. How can I start small? How can I leverage something that also gives me the level of security and standardization, that I don't have to reinvent reinvent the wheel whenever I want to try something new, that I always have to rewrite the software and then I have tons of people looking just to make it work again. So start small, being able to scale, and then you are safe. And this is the modular approach that we are really, really promoting here.
It makes complete sense. Scale up, build on a solid foundation, and see those results. Guys, this has been a great discussion. I'm so grateful for you guys joining us in the studio today. Nina, Mohammed, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan.
Thank you, Stan.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about Rockwell Automation Information Solutions, visit www.rockwellautomation.com.